My traumatized babies and mentally ill Barbies. I have the hiccups. So the dawn is breaking on the stage that holds our final destiny. So my traumatized babies and mentally ill Barbies, don't dream it, be it, because the show must go on. And on today's episode, do you read Sutter Kane? If not, let me tell you all about it. Okay, let's see if that did anything. We had some aggressively positive energy beneath the deck. I will show you, at least on the Angel Answers deck. On the Panther, I wasn't vibing with anything. It's not like I'm trying to avoid anything that's under that deck. It was just that sometimes the energy grabs me, positive or negative or mediocre, and that under the deck didn't grab me. This one did, and it was reflected back to me in the cards that actually came out onto the table. So we have yes, success, listen to your intuition, big happy changes. And that's where I stopped. And like, I'll go with this it's up to you card. What that means is, like, if you've been sensing, because I mean, I've been pointing, like, my finger point. I've been pointing to the, like, extremely positive energy that has gathered that's, like, ushering in the mega happy timeline if we are so choosing to channel that energy, right? Because the energy can just stay up there, and if only one person's bothering to like channel it and bring it through, like that's not really going to do very, very much like for us collectively, but like you can still pull it through individually for your own like benefit and well-being, even if it's not like this mass thing that's going to take place like that. Like, it's just beneficial when it's a mass thing because then like less people have to do work. They're just getting the benefits from the energy that like we're all bringing through. So that's why you kind of want things like en masse like that, because it's less work for us all eventually. So saw all that under the deck. On the board, I already have trust, good news. So that's the same thing as that listen to your intuition with like yes and success. It's sort of like, if you've been getting like synchronicities or you've had feelings that like, I feel like something good is gonna, like, trust that. And I know that that almost feels like maybe self-indulgent or like silly, ridiculous. If you are someone, you know, like, you know, I count myself among these people who care about things that are going on in the world, and like what's going on in the world, like at large, is relatively dire, okay? But the issue with that is that usually somewhere on the planet, even when we're not seeing it broadcast to us like on the news, there is so much dire stuff going on that we don't know about, that it's just sort of like you as an individual, like you'll just like get your head up your own backside if you're just focused on all of this stuff that you really just don't have any personal control over. You can care without it like you being a nihilist pessimist, okay? So I would say if you recognize yourself in that narrative that I just spewed out at you, that it is not self-indulgent to trust in good news. It is okay to be feeling good, having good things happening to you, expecting positive things for yourself, even when there is unfortunate stuff going on around you as well. And so this is where we get into like, it's okay to do that, especially if you're the type of person who, you know, when radically good things are happening for you, especially materially, that you're spreading that around the community once you have your needs and like your loved ones' needs taken care of, all right? That's why it's not selfish. It can be depending on who you are, but I am probably not talking to those people. Probably not. So I would say go ahead and indulge in your own positivity, in your own good mood, expect good things for happening to you, because I do see it here in the energy. Now, what I have here in the middle column, I have forgiveness, and I also have memory and indulgence. And so this could be completely connected to what I just said. Like memory, this is sort of like thinking. Like I am thinking about myself living one sort of lifestyle while others aren't living that lifestyle. you have no direct control over that. Forgive yourself for it, but also I probably just be asking yourself, what can I do to reduce the inequality? And like you trying to like suffer or whatever isn't actually going to do anything for anyone else who is like actually in a state of suffering that they like don't have access to get out of. All right. And so what we have here at the end is abundance and gain. So this is extremely positive. What I will say is on this middle column thus far, it can be exactly what I said. But I was also wondering because like in our May overview energies, we've had a lot of like past people stuff, which it's been showing up as, yes, romantic exes, but these could be family members or friends as well. So it is also possible within this forgiveness that there is something going on there with past people. That doesn't mean that you would have a physical manifestation of a past person in May or even beyond if the energy shows up again. What it can mean, if you're not having a physical manifestation of someone, is that a past person, be it a romantic partner, friend, or family member, could be showing up in your energy and you could be just doing energy work with them. This would be for like a gradual releasing process that typically, depending on the nature of the relationship, the more time you spent in intimacy with somebody, so like close friends, of course, marital partners, people who you've cohabitated with, all that stuff. Those types of, when we're talking about something like cord cutting or cord dissolving, what you're talking about is a bond of intimacy. And I don't like, I'll get wild with it. I don't care if you straight up do like a very, very violent like visualization cord cutting. Depending on your level of intimacy with that person's still going to show up in your energy. That sort of a process between two people is usually something that happens gradually, even if you are trying to do it like all at once. You typically can't force that sort of thing. It's not really going to do you any harm, really, if you try to. I would just say if you've done something like that and you've noticed like, why is this person still in my energy? Why is this still going on? That's fine. Because it's typically a gradual letting go that happens. And so you'll typically have like past people stuff like die down and then show back up. And like I said, for some people that does mean that a past person will be manifesting in real life for them, or at least like within a digital space. So you might get like a text message or an email or something like that. Predominantly for people, it tends to stay on the energetic realm. It tends to stay within that, like we're in each other's energy to do some more gradual releasing of one or the other, or to work out the alignment so that we can release each other. That's typically what past people stuff is. It's getting them to the point of just forgiveness, which again, forgiveness is just letting go. That's it. It's coming to a state where this person's presence no longer affects you in the energy, at least not negatively. So let's go ahead and get some details on that, because this is all looking aggressively positive, which I love, because we've been getting like, I wouldn't say they're negative messages, but they're just serious. And I'm just like, I don't mind, obviously, getting some serious messages when that's what's in the energy, but it's just like, could we have a break, please? Could we ever please have a break? Because like, this is too much. It's too much seriousness. And we need a balance in life, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and see. Good news, trust. So we have the 5 of Wands on that. Like, I know we might be seeing some turbulence, okay? I know we might be seeing some turbulence, but the 5 of Wands isn't like dire. So unless we get like 10 of Swords, 5 of Swords on that 5 of Wands, I'm not overly concerned about it. It's just reiterating, if you are seeing conflict or turbulence, or you are feeling a little bit rattled in your own energy, trust that that does not mean that positive things can't happen, okay? That's all. So this memory, indulgence, forgiveness. You know, we have the 8 of Wands and the 8 of Coins. So this is something, This forgiveness is really talking more about alignment. It's like working on alignment, because the Five of Wands is more like conflicting energy. And then the Six of Wands is like the resolution of that conflict. Seven of Wands is kind of defending that, defending your own successful position. Like you're not re-entering the conflict. We're not going back to the Five of Wands. That's when you get to the Eight of Wands, which is like direct action, like free-flowing energy in an opposite direction or in the direction that you want to go, right? So coupled with that Eight of Pentacles, if you know specifically you have been working towards some sort of alignment that has to do with some sort of gain within your life, whether that's like romantic, whether that's business-oriented, finance-oriented, mental health oriented, maybe working on entering new social circles oriented. That's more relationship oriented as well, but people tend to think of relationships as like straight up romantic when I say that. So any type of goal that you have been putting forth, dedicated, like this is consistent, tangible work that you would have been doing. So this isn't coming like completely out of left field. It's something you would have been working towards, or someone else would have, if I'm not talking directly to you. So, whoa, we've got the Three of Swords under abundance and gain. That's an interesting combination. This might be like, it's not turning lemons into lemonade. This has to do with like sacrifice, which that could be, because when we have this Eight of Pentacles here, right? If you are working consistently on something that you are looking to see in your life to manifest in materiality, there is always sacrifice involved. This is a sacrifice of labor. It's a sacrifice of time. You might not be, like if you have friends or whatever, you're not spending as much time with your friends. So like within a family system, right? If you have someone who wants to provide a certain sort of lifestyle for their family, for their children, that person, whether like no matter who it is, like it's one of the spouses, whatever, if that's the type of family system that you have, one person might be working very, very hard within like a corporate environment or within an entrepreneurial system to gain a certain amount of income to give their family a particular lifestyle. In order to provide that very comfort, that person is sacrificing time, labor, energy, and also intimacy with their own family. In order to provide that very comfort, they are not going to have the same sort of intimate relationship with their children that their partner perhaps does. And so there's always, like, we don't really get out of this Three of Swords when we're talking about something like that. Yes, like, things can just sort of happen. Like, we can get, like, windfalls, or you can sometimes, and I've had the experience, so I know other people have too, where you can just think about something, where a thought really does, like, become a thing. You just go, oh, I would like to do this, or I would like to have this experience. And it's not something that you can just walk out and like purchase or something like that. It would have to come to you in some sort of way. I've had that experience where I've just thought something and I haven't communicated it to anyone else. And like a couple of months later, that very thing just comes in and I haven't done anything. So that stuff does happen. However, then that very thing usually is what I have to like sacrifice. It's something that I want to engage with. So if I want to engage with that thing, the state of engagement, I am not engaging with other things. That is the Three of Swords. So this does not have to be some sort of like, I don't know, like traumatic situation. It's just sort of, to me at the moment, until I get more cards on that, we're just talking about somebody who has sacrificed a lot of time and labor to do something, potentially getting that thing or making a significant step forward into whatever that thing is. Yes, justice, so this is the balancing out, right? We're talking about alignment here for whatever this is that I am discussing. And I might try to narrow it down, like what this is, but I would say if I do narrow it down and this is talking about something that you're not necessarily working on personally, I would just take the general message. as whatever it is that you're working on, it's like you're getting some kind of payoff for that. So that's like, you can click out of the message now. That is what this message is. Whatever you have been sacrificing towards, whatever it is that you've been working towards, even if it's been hard, trust in what you're doing. Likely you're gonna have some type of positive result. That's the message. Now, if you wanna like stick with me and get details on that, we're gonna keep going and getting details. But I would say, if that message fits you, that's what the synchronicity is. That's what I'm telling you. So just don't exclude yourself if I start getting into more specifics and you fall outside that range. Yes, there is and this is something you've invested in. It's gotta be something that you've invested in long-term with whatever it is. A significant change with this death card coming from a long-term investment. That's what this is. So this is for the practical manifestors here. Three of Swords, King of Wands. That's what this. You have been sacrificing something somewhere to take action, consistent action in another place. That's all that means. So let's go ahead and we're going to go to the clarifier deck. We're going to see if we can get, I don't know, some more specifics on this stuff. Let's go ahead and see. I'll go bad. I'm saying bad. It's whatever that Five of Wands is. Bad first, and then we'll end with the positive, right? We'll end with like the best news. So what is that Five of Wands potentially for the collective? Well, it could be a stubborn thing, whatever it is. And when it's a stubborn thing, I'm gonna have to talk about that. Let me look at this. How you know when like it's not something that you should, oh no, it's not, this is just a really good attitude to have when you're talking about dealing with, because the Five of Wands isn't insurmountable, right? That's not what the Five of Wands is, and I'm trying to think of the card. It might be the Ten of Swords, because not even the Ten of Wands isn't insurmountable. It's just not a place that you really want to stay long term. Sometimes Ten of Wands is necessary, and then you're like looking at, is this actually necessary for what I want to do, or like, do I need to put some of this shit down and tend to myself? Ten of Wands isn't insurmountable. It's not optimal. Ten of Swords is typically the thing that's like, whatever it is that you're doing, like stop, because like this isn't something that you can just force your way through or work your way through, or even kind of like flow like water, you know, you can't do that. The Five of Wands, yes, you can. And what it's looking like here is that's like the attitude within the energy. King of Cups, Strength, Nine of Pentacles. King of Cups plus Strength, this is like strong like the river, but like also flowing around boulders. It's a very sort of firm yet gentle. It's flexible. This is what like people are looking for when they're practicing yoga to perform, to become increasingly flexible in the body. What that's also doing is creating simultaneously a flexibility in mindset. It's cultivating discipline with compassion. And it's also training you physically to understand the paradox of union. So when you start getting into very, very basic positions, the simple one, you don't have to do all this complex stuff if you're practicing yoga for this reason. Even Warrior One and stuff like that, they're gonna be asking you to sink while you rise. And so you've got to wrap your head around that in order to do it appropriately in the body. And that's creating a specific sort of mentality along with like the physical tangible result. So flexibility of the spine and things like that tend to be very prized in that sort of practice. That is why, because if you can become very like the snakes, right? If you can become very flexible and sinuous like that, you have more movability, like you're able to navigate conflict better, obstacles better, and also what a snake is able to do is to like attack and strike where appropriate. And so the mentality and the flexibility is like being able to look at that and judge, is this requiring me to position myself in a different way? Is it requiring me to like retreat? Is it requiring me to strike, or is it requiring me to just keep like moving through? That's what this sort of a mentality is, which is like really, really excellent. It's really, really excellent for longer term manifestation, which is a lot of lifestyle stuff. A lot of I want to create the life of my preference is a much longer term manifestation than just like a thought becoming a thing. Like there's way more of a process involved with it. Nine of Pentacles, this is like Nine of Pentacles isn't necessarily like wealth, it can be, but this in this instance is representing the way I want to live. And it's suggesting a solitude, the way I personally would want to live. Though I would say if you do have like a partner or whatever else, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're single. It would just mean that like your partner or partners are very compatible with whatever individual lifestyle that you're going to lead. Okay, so that's fantastic. And so we will look now at this good news that we are trusting in. But you see, that's the type of thing. The reason why we're looking to cultivate that type of an attitude in general is that that allows you to be resilient in the face of your challenges without just like giving up. And it also allows you to be in a generally good mood. You can be content on your way to what you're looking to create as you're creating it, instead of being like fucking miserable, like creating it. And then only happy when you're receiving a specific result. And there is the result. There's the Ace of Coins right there. That's the good news. The good news is that there's like some sort of positive manifestation incoming, and it's going to be a material thing. Most likely. Magician that you have created. The Magician, this is Knight of Cups. That is an incoming positive manifestation that you have in some way created. Magician, you can have a magical practice. You don't have to have a magical practice, okay? Though, like, it might be more of a spiritual thing that I'm talking about. If you're not a magician or a witch or, you know, something like that, you could just be more like, you know, woo-woo. If you're not someone who is like seriously like a Hindu practitioner, also incorporating yoga. I don't even know what I just pulled those cards for, but apparently something wants to come out on this middle row. Because I didn't even ask a dang question. Okay. Oh, there's our Five of Wands back again. So this is just challenges. Like, these are just challenges that you've been facing with your process. Judgment. Page of Wands. I don't know. I'm just Hierophant. Seven of Wands. Like, to me, I'm not even getting into mad specifics with this middle row. This is just saying that, like, you made judgment calls and you kept going. Like, you didn't, whatever that Five of Wands, whatever those obstacles were, it didn't stop you. And so, like, and this is also sort of like, if you are some sort of magician, it's like, I have magic on my side, I have God on my side, I have my patron on my side, I have the greater forces on my side, the Tao is with me, therefore I will fight. This is kind of like, this is almost like if I rearrange this a little bit with like Hierophant, Judgment, Page of Wands, this is like a little soldier for God here. God wills it, therefore I will create it. Like, but that is a very specific way of saying something, because when I say God wills it, therefore, usually someone's declaring war on someone else. That's not what's going on here. It just means that this thing, I am aware that this thing is in the energy for me. This is part of my being, truly, and so it must happen. That's like what belief is, but I don't even like calling it belief. It's just, I know this. Like, I know this is who I am, and therefore, it's gonna happen. I just have to do this, and it's gonna happen. And that's typically how like manifestation goes. So it's like when we're talking about belief, because to me, belief implies like non-existence. And it's not non-existence, it's real. So like I don't even like, and I know Jesus or the translation is belief or whatever. I don't even really like say if you believe. No, I know. I don't believe it. I know it's me. I know I'm that person. And that's like kind of the level that you need to get in with belief. Because like belief is kind of, It's not concrete enough for a material manifestation. You can't believe, you must know. It's got to be like a literal thing. So if I can talk to you, and that's why I'm doing this like right now, and I haven't done the other thing. I believe, I'm using a personal example. I believe that I could be a commercially successful author. I believe that. I don't know it. If I knew it, I would already have the books out. They'd be self-published. They would be out there. I am working towards knowing. Right now I believe, and so it's not here. What I know is I can read tarot. What I know is I have a valuable message for a certain type of audience. What I know is what I'm saying is true, and therefore here are the videos to prove it. That's the difference. And it's also why I'm able to do it as consistently as I do. That's why. So I'm looking specifically at this like forgiveness thing. Okay, that to see if there's just anything of any of the other messages on that, or if we're just talking about, because that forgiveness just means like alignment. That is like kind of the true meaning of forgiveness is energetic alignment. Because unforgiveness is just fucked up shit in the energy. That's the energy's doing this, you want it to do that. That's all. Forgiveness, the Queen of Wands. I think this is about alignment. The Star, the Knight of Pentacles. This forgiveness thing, that's just about energetic alignment with your manifestation. That's all that is. That's all that is. So, okay, let me look at what this Three of Swords is. I'm curious because, I mean, I don't see anything to suggest that I've been wrong in my interpretation, but like, just for curiosity's sake, because I'm not getting anything very radical off of that. Okay, this Three of Swords is, ooh, the Tower. Maybe it is radical, but I'm not getting negative. The World, this isn't negative. This is some, because the gain abundance, I don't know. Ace of Wands, that's why. This is positive, whatever it is. It's something you set. Knight of Wands, this is something like, this is a good thing. This is a good thing, but like, I'm correct in that whatever it is that is coming in, you have sacrificed, you've performed some sort of sacrifice for this. And like, you don't really get out of that for a manifestation like as significant as whatever this is. So I'm going to look at the Tower and the World is kind of the same energy, but I kind of want to look at the Tower separately from the World. Five of Coins. I don't know if y'all are struggling right now in some sort of way. If you are more like, oh God, I've been working so hard for so little, like the World being there is like, that's over with. But we'll look. Yeah, that's what, yes. Okay, so if you, and like struggle is relative, right? We're not necessarily talking about poverty here, though maybe some of you are. It's just talking about working in sort of tight conditions, not having like all of the funds you would need, all of the resources that you would need to really go all out with what you are doing. So if we're talking about like me, for an example, there are certain things that I would like to expand into with this channel. However, I also have a 9-to-5 job. I also have social commitments. I also have familial commitments, and I have financial restrictions. So even though I really want to, I would love, because I like, obviously I prefer to get on here and read tarot and do all this like creative stuff with y'all and just vibe as opposed to doing my 9-to-5 job. But I mean, you can't just, well, for me anyway, some people will just fucking jump off the freaking cliff. I'm not that person, okay? That's a high risk situation, and I do not have the type of financial privilege that would allow me to just do that and not have something seriously bad happen to me if I failed. So I'm not inclined to do that kind of thing. So because of those restrictions, progress on the channel is going to go a lot slower than if I had like unlimited earth monies to just sit here and pour into the channel and not worry about any type of like financial return or anything. If I could do that, yeah, we'd be doing all kinds of stuff with the channel. We'd have like a different backdrop and like maybe better equipment and all that stuff. But there would still be kind of a time lag on that, because I would have to like switch the system and learn the system and keep like this content like style going while I did all of that and then implement it, but it would still go faster than it would right now. So that's like my version of this Five of Pentacles. That's my version of this constriction. So you can take that and apply it to whatever specific situation that you are in. However, what I am seeing here is that that is what is changing here big time. We've got like Nine of Cups and the Death card. That is a serious positive change. And the Hanged Man would suggest that like, I'm gonna check it, but what I'm getting from that is like, you don't really, I'm not saying stop what you're doing, but it's sort of like you're gonna see this happen. This is not something that you really have to push for or anything like that. Yeah, Hanged Man, Page of Swords, it's kind of like, this is gonna be communicated to you in some way. It's nothing that like, yeah, Temperance, this is a result of work that you have like been doing. That's all. And so I'll look at this World card really quick, but this is just signifying like, this is the end of this period and we're moving into this other period that will likely go a lot faster with whatever it is that you're doing due to the momentum that you've already built up with whatever it is. The World, yeah, that's true. I don't need to pull any more on that. Ace of Swords, what I just said is correct. All right, so the King of Wands is just like someone who's taking consistent action on their vision confidently. Once this thing, however it is that's working itself out in the energy, plays out in materiality for you, remember, everything that you're seeing is pre-recorded. Everything that you're seeing is pre-recorded. And yes, I'm talking about this video, right? It's a very, very apt metaphor. You are not seeing this video live, and even if I went live, you're still not seeing me live. There is however many seconds of delay. Nothing is truly live. And I'm saying that like that's a metaphor, all right? It's a metaphor. Even in materiality, what you are seeing in materiality has already happened in the energy. This is pre-recorded, all of it. And so once this occurs, the King of Wands is just like, you're gonna be reinvigorated, likely. If you've been doing a lot of work and you're just kind of like tired, because that is normal, it's likely you're going to receive new inspiration from whatever this manifestation is. So now let's see if we can get like gain and abundance. I don't know, it's suggesting money. It doesn't have to be. Let's go ahead and look at, see if we can get any details on whatever this gain and abundance is. And then like, I'm just inclined to kind of leave this like as it is. We're just gonna go into a final advice outcome, because I don't really like when something's like real positive, there's nothing to fuck with. There's nothing to fuck with, and in fact, fucking with it too much can create misalignment. So we let this, we accept it, yay, let it go. And trust, right? Trust good news. Trust this good news that I'm telling you. Eight of Wands, well, that's fast moving, whatever it is, and it's gonna allow you to move faster as well. Hermit, oh, you might be working in solitude. So this could be another person. Another person might come in that either has resources, or like if you are getting an employee or something like that. We'll go around again, but that is like hermit, solitude, lovers, two people. Or there's some sort of choice you have to make. It could be that. We'll look at it. Eight of Wands, Six of Coins, that's like incoming money, or an incoming person that's going to give you money. This is also if you do something that's like streaming, or you receive donations, or you're doing crowdfunding or something like that, that would suggest lots of different people giving you small amounts of money that adds up to big amounts of money. And remember, if people are doing that, Remember to express gratitude for them, and if you have made certain promises to them about something that you're going to create with those funds, do it, right? Do the thing, and be transparent about your timeline and when you're running into challenges or whatever that's giving you a setback, because most people are fairly generous and forgiving when they're vibing with you, as long as you are being honest with them and not like shady or whatever. So just, do your utmost, right? But just remember that you are only getting, if it is a donation type of situation or your Patreons, whatever it is, that is an incredible gift to have a community that is willing to support you that way. So remember not only to be generous with your thanks, but also try to be as efficient as possible, and also be giving them the quality that you have promised or that they've come to expect from you. So don't rush it. That's what I'm saying, okay? The Hermit. The Hermit, Justice, King of Wands. So this is just saying that whatever this is, it's fair to you. This is a fair outcome, King of Wands. So the Lovers. So that could even, if you do have a community aspect to this, the Lovers could represent you working with your community in some sort of way, your community being your partner in this situation. It doesn't have to be one person. Eight of Coins, it's striking me more like that, or that's some kind of business partnership. I'll pull one more on it. Five of Cups. Well, now I don't know what that is. Five of Cups. Six of Wands. This is just they're going back to the sacrifice. Your sacrifice is going to be worth it. I'm not getting anything specifically about another person. So it's potentially the community thing that I talked about, or what this Lovers is representing is this is you coming into union with your manifestation. Successful manifestation from the sacrifices that you worked through. That's what that means, if it has nothing to do with another person, okay? So we are just going to move right into final advice outcome, because this is all extremely positive. Before I do, if you have received ongoing support from the channel, entertainment, positive manifestations, whatever it is, and you do have anything to give back financially, if you could do me a big favor, I have House of Tulip's donation link down below. House of Tulip is a local nonprofit created and run by trans and gender nonconforming people of color, and House of Tulip's mission is to support trans and gender nonconforming youth, getting them homes, toiletries, clothing, job opportunities, and everything that they would need to move from a space of surviving to thriving within loving, supportive community. Y'all might need a rep. Well, there's that Two of Cups again. I don't know, if some of y'all are working on dating or something like that, that could be part of it as well, but that's very specific. But you might find somebody. But there's something here about, this is visualization. Okay. If it's not the relationship thing and literally you are a practitioner, you're about to level up. You're about to receive, this is some witchcraft shit going on here. This is specifically a little side message. If you are literally a practitioner or a witch, especially, something like that, you're about to become more, or you're going to receive physical evidence of your own power. It's something like that, and you're going to be So this right here, what I saw initially, the Four of Swords, the Two of Cups, and the Magician, I was somebody needs to rest. It's not rest. This is Four of Swords and the Two of Cups. If you can see on this version of the Two of Cups, it's two people in telepathic communication. This is talking about visualization as magic. You are vibing with your manifestation. That's what that is. You're it's some sort of visualization process. You could be doing trance states or something like that, but you would be aware of it. This is suggesting that someone is aware that they are doing magic. It's not something that somebody's doing by accident. So you would know if I'm talking to you. If you are not a practitioner, that does not mean that this reading is not yours. It's just that there's like a little side message for some people who are doing that shit. Two of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, the Sun, and Temperance. This is just like, don't worry, be happy. Like, the stuff that you have been doing is like, this is like a gradual buildup, right? And it's, since we're going from the Ace of Wands to the Sun, it's like all of the wands are being implied in leading up to the blaze that is the Sun, which has its own gravitational pull. This is something that you have been doing long-term alchemy, long-term whatever it is that you've been doing. And it's just like, good for you, because you can see there's mirroring. We're bookended with this Two of Pentacles and Temperance card. They both have two things in their hand that they're going back and forth with. So whatever material thing that you have been doing, you have also been doing the same thing at a very high level on the energetic realm. And we're going like down in a pyramid for some reason here, so let's just go with that energy. Likely because something's coming down. So like something's coming down this way, right? That's like a manifestation thing. The pyramid, the triangle upside down is something coming down from materiality. When you turn the triangle, like with the base is like on the bottom, you're sending something, you're sending a signal like outward. So right now we are receiving something broader that's getting more specific. And so that's like, if we're getting like Tree of Life with it, something's coming from Kether to Malkuth. We're not going from Malkuth to Kether, or Kether, however you pronounce it. But I'm not saying that in like, within the realms of like actual Jewish Kabbalah, because that is a very specific thing. I'm kind of using it within like that kind of loosey-goosey occult way. Okay, so what's another road down? Well, the Lovers, so there's the union. And I mean, if you know you're manifesting a person or a partner, like not a specific person, but just like if you want marriage or something like that, yeah, that could be that. Page of Pentacles, but like what I'm just saying to keep it general, that's union with your manifestation on the material plane. Whoa, the devil, like, here's the thing. When we're talking about this magically, the devil is how you're getting stuff materially. Without the devil, without demons, without that layer of like energy, you can't have a material manifestation. That's necessary for things. That's necessary for me to have this body. It's necessary for things to exist as matter, as material. If you didn't have a very, very if you have no density, you can't, if you have no gravity, if you don't have things like anchoring something in, you can't have a structured form. That's what the devil is in this instance, though I will pull on our, I was going to say little devil. I don't want to insult anybody. They're not insulted. Okay, thank you. Yes, King of Pentacles, that's the material world. And what this is, even though it's being represented by the Page of Pentacles, this is saying that you have achieved some level of mastery over your material environment. And that is a big deal. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So like people get so upset like when I say stuff like this and they don't know what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about being in line with Satan or Lucifer or the devil, what I'm saying is you are in line with material manifestation. So someone who is very, very adept at finances, creating finances, that is someone who would be in line with the king of the earth, meaning the king of material. That's all that means. Okay, and you can take it to like a dark place because people who get like too invested in material like can get super weird, but it doesn't have to be, and it's not, that's not what's being discussed here. It's just talking about creating something significant for yourself within the actual world. All right, down here, so the Hermit. So whenever you're doing something like this, you're achieving a significant result for yourself, it always changes you on the inside as well, especially if this is something that you're planning to carry on and build off of in perpetuity. If you do not change yourself, you might get a manifestation, but you're not going to be able to hold it. You don't have the space for it. You need the interior space, understanding, and perception in order to keep whatever this thing is. That's why people, money, like, so this is likely some sort of funds or money or something. It's material resources, I don't know. But that's typically why, like, you'll watch people, and the most common thing is with the body, right? When you're changing, shifting weight down, like whatever, people will like fling back and forth between like very, very lean to perhaps very, very large. That is because what's going on is that they're trying to fake it till they make it. They are doing the physical thing. They know in order to, like, let's say shift down, right? I have to work out in this fashion. I have to tailor my nutrition in this fashion. And I need to be doing all of these things physically. You can do that. But if you don't actually handle what's going on inside of you, you are not going to be able to maintain it as a permanent change to self. That's why people go back and forth like that. That's why it kind of, when I'm saying it doesn't matter, okay? I don't mean that you can't give somebody money while like building with them, but if you just throw money at a person who has no conception of like managing money and doesn't really understand boundaries, like some people are too generous, some people are too frivolous, some people are too stingy, okay? Throwing money at somebody like that without any sort of education or monetary practice can actually fuck up somebody's life, like way worse than like before even. Or so that's why you'll notice like people going back and forth, like I'm stable, now I'm unstable. I have it, now I don't have it. It's because they do not have that, that indefinable change within self that cannot be measured. And that's why we're referring to it as magic, because you can't measure it. You don't know when it's actually happening. Besides, the change that someone is looking to make is stable, very, very long term. And when I say long term, I mean beyond 7 years. So the change would also have to be something that you would want to be that long term. Some manifestations that people are creating are designed to be short term. Okay, and then finally, the Four of Cups, which I'll look at that, but that's just sort of like an incoming thing. That's just sort of like, here it is. After trial and error, here it is. And you might be kind of tired, like, because it's not really striking me as apathy, though, like, it could be like a little bit of that non-belief creeping in, like, oh, I didn't actually think this was going to happen. And there it is. It's like tired. Seven of Wands is like, I've been doing this for a long time. I would actually like to go through this door. Yeah, and it's fine. Like, this is just, it's talking about kind of the state that you're moving into. You're going from more strategy on whatever this manifestation process is. This is strategy and effort, which, yes, is going to be more tiring. Sometimes it's just like that, though. But you're going from that state into more effortlessness with that High Priestess. All right, so that is all of that. So let's go ahead and close with the Son and the Father. High key manifestation based read. All right, let's see what Jesus says. Both of our master manifestors here, Jesus and Bob. Always, though it's a different sort of type of manifestation, right? Jesus is more that temperance card, and funnily enough, Bob is kind of more of the devil, right? Because Bob, painting, is creating material things that are also illusory. Those aren't real, but yet he's really creating them. So that's interesting. Jesus is like way more, you know, off in the 5D somewhere. Dang, Jesus, create an enlightenment. But that's that hermit thing, right? Jesus is the hermit. So Jesus says, your faith has saved you. Go in peace. That is about belief. That is about knowing. Faith and belief isn't like, well, I think, well, I want, I know. That's what that really is. Jesus also says, nothing shall by any means hurt you. So this is just a promise that like, this is good news, whatever I'm talking about. Because I know I can be like very like emphatic, but like, because I'm like, oh, this is very wonderful. That's just kind of not my vibe. But it's just sort of like reassuring you that if you have concerns, if you're like worried, if you're able to, you can let some of that worry go. If you don't let it go, it's not going to mess anything up. It's just that you could be feeling better at the moment if you can let it go. But don't beat yourself up. Jesus also says, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. This is also about faith, belief, knowing, clarity. That's also Luciferian, by the way. Christ and Antichrist are like the same thing within the correct positioning in my frame. The light of, that's like light, clarity, faith, knowing. Following Jesus is following enlightenment, knowing, clarity. That's all, because Jesus is, of course, the greatest magician of the age and perhaps the greatest magician of all time. Jesus finally says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. This is referencing that 5 of Pentacles, that struggle, that limitation, however that's been looking for you in materiality. Because you didn't like let that get to you, it's kind of like that is very blessed that you are still doing labor, even though maybe you had doubts, even though maybe there were times when you're just like, my confidence is flagging, whatever. Still, you did not ultimately give up, even if you took breaks. That is why the kingdom of heaven or the manifestation is yours. That's right. So, as always, we close with the highest, I shouldn't say as always, because sometimes I do forget our highest authority. But we'll just say as always. And Bob's with us in spirit all the time. The highest authority, of course, being Bob. Our Father, who art in heaven. We close with the word of Bob that is good all the time. Ooh, lots of Bobs today. Whoa, that is a lot of Bobs. Okay, well. It is a manifestation heavy read, and Bob is very positive and nurturing, so I like it when we have a lot of Bobs. He balances me out. Bob says, isn't that fantastic? I knew you could do it. Gold star. Gold star, manifestation coming here. Excellent job. Bob also says, just let go and fall like a little waterfall. That's alignment. That's alignment, and that's like also about letting go of worry. If you can let go of worry, go ahead. Like, do your little trust fall, okay? Bob also says, let's put a few little highlights in here just to make them little rascals just sparkle in the sun. So, like, this is about balance, right? It's about yin and yang. We need the struggle, right, to truly appreciate the positive manifestations. Like, if it just came, right, all the time with no effort whatsoever, we really wouldn't care, because those are the infinite realms of non-resistance. The imaginal realms, we can have whatever we want there as long as you can conceptualize it and you can have it immediately, but it's not real. And reality includes resistance, typically all the time. Because in order for something that is intangible to become tangible, that's like when you have a rocket kind of like coming in from space, or a meteorite, whatever. It's coming in from space and it is making contact with the earth. You know that there's like turbulence there. It's not a smooth ride for something to go from space to earth. So yeah, that's gonna happen for manifestations too. It's a fractal thing. Bob also says, go out on a limb. That's where the fruit is. So at some point you would have taken at least some sort of like risk for this. It's not suggesting to me that you need to like take a risk at the moment, but that trust, like the trust is the risk. Just go ahead and fall like a little waterfall, like allow it to come in. Bob finally says, just go out and talk to a tree, make friends with it. So this is one of those messages that's just like, likely, right? And I'm not saying stop all work entirely or whatever, but if you've been laboring intensively and that's some of your worry, like if I don't stop doing this, it's never going to come. There is that Four of Swords also. That like, no, you have time to go out and talk to the trees, to enjoy nature, to enjoy a good meal, to spend some time with your family, with your friends, with yourself, with your pets, watching TV, playing a video game, reading, whatever it is that you enjoy. There is more than enough time in here for you to do that. So, my traumatized babies and mentally ill Barbies, this is reality, and I am your GM, your game master for this, the game of life. I am also, of course, the greatest magician of the age, and perhaps the greatest magician of all time. And together, you and I will perform the greatest magic trick of all time. We will reverse the polarities of the world, make America great for once, fly this boat to the moon somehow, shift our world onto the mega happy timeline, perhaps leaving it a much better place than it ever has been before. Because we are, my traumatized babies and mentally ill Barbies, crawling on the planet's face, some insects called the human race, lost in time and lost in space. End meeting.